And joining us live is the New South Wales SES Chief Superintendent Ashley Sullivan. Ashley, good morning to you. Thanks for your time on a busy warning. What are the latest warnings about today?
Yeah, good morning. Certainly a busy night overnight for the New South Wales SES and the communities, particularly around Sydney. The Hawkesbury Nepean, the Georges River and the Warrena all saw significant activity overnight. The threat does remain, particularly for the Illawarra, Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter today, as the New South Wales SES has responded to over 5,300 calls for assistance now. 252 flood rescues, a significant quantity of them received overnight last night. Particularly of concern is the amount of motorists driving through floodwaters. So as we've been warning for a few days now, the risk does remain. While ever that rain is falling and the floodwater remains, the risk is certainly real. So for today, we do ask that the communities avoid any unnecessary travel, work from home wherever possible, review any need to go out of your home. Obviously, we do have in excess of 90 evacuation orders current, 97 to be correct, and we have about 60 evacuation warnings. Those evacuation warnings are for communities where there's potential for the rivers to rise in those communities, and we're asking them to prepare to evacuate should that situation increase and the floodwaters do require us to convert that to an evacuation order. A number of evacuation centres have been set up in support of communities that do need to evacuate, but wherever possible, we do ask people to go with friends and family, of course. Always, if you need New South Wales SES assistance, 132500 or 000 in life-threatening circumstances.
So just as a total of people, how many people are under those evacuation orders at the moment? Some 97 evacuation orders. That's an increase on yesterday's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Certainly a significant increase in escalation. As we've been warning for a few days, this is a volatile situation, the weather and the levels of saturation in the ground. It doesn't take much rain for the situation to change, and we saw that yesterday afternoon, particularly on the Hawkesbury Nepean, Georges and Warrena, where it did escalate overnight. We've got about 45,000 people that are under those warnings and orders at the moment. So it is increasing in risk. Today, we're going to be watching it very closely, particularly for the rain around Sydney, Central Coast and up into the Hunter. We do expect an increase in the rivers, in that Hunter Valley river systems, and that's something that we're resourcing today and focusing on, particularly with that rain that is impacting that area at the moment.
So the Hawkesbury Nepean is the danger zone out of all of those areas at the moment?
Yeah, most definitely. Hawkesbury Nepean, it's a big river system. It's certainly where the bulk of the water is at the moment. McGrath's Hill was a focus overnight, particularly for our flood rescue crews and supported evacuations. We've got lots of New South Wales SES and our partner agencies, emergency response teams out there today, particularly over all of those river systems. We're receiving a steady trickle of rescue jobs. It did get very busy overnight. I think at one stage we had 47 dedicated flood rescue crews from all agencies out there responding, attending to motorists trapped in floodwaters, residents that were trapped in their homes, and obviously assisting those that needed to be evacuated in anticipation of that water rising overnight and today.
So how many without power at the moment, to be specific on that point, Ashley?
Yeah, there's thousands without power. There's lots of impact today that we're going to see. The telecommunications infrastructure also impacted, particularly as power is lost to communities. Obviously, the network needs to be shut down in certain areas before it gets inundated. And we saw that starting to happen yesterday afternoon, particularly on that Hawkesbury Nepean river system as the rivers started to rise. The other risk that we've got today is the winds. We're going to see trees topple over very easily with any wind that we get over the coming days. And that's obviously a significant risk for our communities. So consider where you park your car today. Out in the open would be preferred. Look after yourself, friends and family, and stay safe.
So we've got 50,000 without power or thereabouts. Is that about accurate in your view?
Yeah, it's definitely accurate. It's hard to tell because it is raining. It is windy outside, so that's forever changing, and I don't expect it to get any better in the near future. We're expecting the strong winds and the heavy rain to stick around today, so it's still a developing scenario.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of people affected there, lots without power too, and that threat remains. Ashley Sullivan, the SES Chief Superintendent, on a busy morning. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate the update.